The message from the stars. It came without warning. At precisely 1400 hours Universal Time coordinated, every satellite dish, orbital telescope, and civilian screen on Earth flickered. A signal, not from within the solar system, but triangulated from far beyond Pluto, took over the airwaves. Governments scrambled to isolate the feed, but it was too late. Every human on the planet was watching. The screen went black. Then, a golden emblem appeared. 6 interlocking circles orbiting a central star. A voice followed. Cold, monotone, alien. People of Sol 3, you are now subjects of the Galactic Council. As a non-warp civilization, you fall under Tier 5 classification and are hereby bound to provide tribute, genetic samples, resource quotas, and compliant laborers. Compliance guarantees protection and provisional access to galactic trade networks. Refusal results in termination. You have 30 planetary cycles to comply. This is not a negotiation. The image shifted. A tall, gray-skinned figure, robed in silk and adorned with living jewelry, stood before a vast star map. I am Envoy Car of the Zener Ascendancy, emissary to your kind. Your acceptance is expected. Your resistance, statistically improbable. Then silence. The signal cut. The stars returned. World governments fell into chaos. Social media erupted. Conspiracy theorists were vindicated and terrified all at once. Most citizens dismissed the broadcast as an elaborate hoax. But when the orbital telescopes detected 12 alien constructs hanging just beyond the moon, impossibly symmetrical, emitting no propulsion, doubt gave way to dread. Inside an emergency session of the United Nations, President Okoro of Nigeria slammed his fist on the table. They didn't ask. They didn't even pretend to negotiate. We're being told to hand over our people like cattle. They didn't fire on us, countered Chancellor Lithgow of Germany. We should consider diplomacy. Perhaps they'd accept a partial tribute. No, said a voice from the back. General Sofia Navarro of the UN Joint Defense Command stood, arms folded. We don't bargain with slavers. Not even the ones who speak in perfect syntax. The room went still. In a hidden complex beneath Geneva, a select group assembled. Scientists, engineers, military minds, cultural theorists. No press, no bureaucrats, just thinkers and doers. The council had demanded tribute. Humanity would give them something else. Tell me, Navarro said to the group, if you wanted to terrify an empire but couldn't match them in firepower, what would you do? You'd show them what you are, replied Lena Voss, a quantum engineer. What you've survived, what you're willing to become. Then we have our answer, Navarro said. She turned to Athena. The AI interfaced into the main chamber's holo display. Start a secure transmission to the coordinates in the alien signal. Yes, General, the AI said. Content. Navarro smiled grimly. Tell them. Your demand has been received. Our answer is coming. The message was sent, not in fear, but in defiance. Earth had never bowed before kings. It would not kneel to emperors among the stars. Project Requital. The countdown had begun. 29 cycles remained. Earth's skies were deceptively calm, but beneath the surface, in bunkers, research stations, and orbital labs, the planet was roaring with activity. Not to assemble fleets, not to launch nukes. Humanity's answer would not be measured in firepower. It would be an idea, a carefully crafted message of defiance. The operation was codenamed Project Requital. In a secure hangar deep in the Nevada desert, a vessel unlike any other began to take shape. Massive, obsidian black, with no visible weapons. Instead, its interior housed something far more potent than missiles. Memory, symbolism, and history. Not a warship, Navarro reminded them, walking through the cavernous bay. A mirror, one that shows them exactly who we are. The Dauntless was built to travel alone to the Galactic Council's core world. It would carry 5 delegates and the most dangerous weapon humans had ever devised. Not a bomb, but a memory crystal. Lena Voss held the prototype in her gloved hands. Encased in a diamond lattice grown from a carbon asteroid, it pulsed faintly with light. Within it was embedded over 300 terabytes of carefully curated human history. Wars, revolutions, genocides, resistance, invention, survival. Nothing was sanitized. No utopian fluff, Lena said. They need to see us, not the brochure version. Navarro nodded. Good. Let them choke on it. In a lower deck, AI diplomat Athena was training the chosen delegates. They were not politicians, but soldiers, scientists, and poets, people who understood not just how to speak, but how to represent. Your mission is not to win their favor, Athena said, holographic eyes glowing cobalt. It is to unsettle them, to infect their minds with the truth. Humanity cannot be tamed. Each delegate memorized key points in council doctrine and then prepared to dismantle them in person. Their very presence, unarmed, unbroken, will be the ultimate insult to the council's arrogance. Even attribute gifts were symbolic mockery. An ancient blade forged from meteoric iron, engraved with the words, "We do not kneel." A sculpture made from salvaged space debris, shaped into clenched fists reaching skyward. And the memory crystal, humanity's soul encoded in light. When the council's observation drones drew closer, watching the final assembly of the Dauntless, Earth made no attempt to hide it. Let them see. Let them underestimate. At launch day, the Dauntless rose on a pillar of flame, black against the clouds, transmitting one sentence on loop in every known galactic language. Tribute delivered. Prepare to receive. As the vessel vanished into the void, Navarro stood before Earth's leaders and said only this. Now we wait, and when the Council opens our gift, I hope they see themselves in it and tremble. Far beyond the moon, alien eyes tracked the ship. They expected fear. They expected surrender. They had no idea what humanity had just sent. At the seat of power, the Dauntless emerged from hyperspace in the heart of Council-controlled space, a region no unaligned vessel had ever reached unescorted. Immediately, it was surrounded. Hundreds of alien warships, sleek, silver, bristling with plasma weaponry, formed a silent perimeter. But the Dauntless did not alter course. It cruised forward like a black arrow aimed at the heart of the Empire. Aboard, 5 humans stood in silence. Commander Elias Rourke, linguist-poet Sarai Nima, cyberneticist Dr. Koji Tanaka, exohistorian Anya Petrov, and Athena, now housed in a humanoid chassis. We are here, Athena said. Welcome to the Galactic seat. The Council's homeworld, Veltheri Prime, gleamed below, a ringed planet of marble spires and living architecture. At its center, the Dome of Verdicts. The humans were led through towering gates by silent, floating constructs. No words, no threats. Just cold, orderly process. Inside the dome, 73 council species observed from balconies. Insectoid Valari, crystalline Ekrans, towering Xener. They radiated condescension. Envoy Carr stepped forward, his silver eyes gleaming with contempt. Humans, you arrive not with gold, not with genuflection, but with symbols. Toys, relics. This is not tribute. Commander Rourke stepped forward calmly. We brought what matters most, our truth. He handed the memory crystal to his Xener attendant. The lights dimmed. The crystal pulsed, and the council watched. First came the footage, black and white images of tanks rolling through Europe. Mushroom clouds rising. Then revolutions, people screaming in defiance. Blood, fire, resilience. Then came the speeches. Give me liberty or give me death. I have not yet begun to fight. We will not go quietly into the night. The chamber fell silent. Some recoiled. Others leaned forward. One Valari mind sifter gasped, their emotional spectrum, it is raw chaos. When the projection ended, Athena spoke, her voice perfectly modulated. You demanded tribute. You demanded submission. Instead, we offer understanding. We are not weak because we are young. We are dangerous because we remember pain, and we rise from it. Envoy Carr hissed. This display is an insult. No, said Sarai Nima, stepping forward. It is a promise. She reached into her satchel and held up the meteor blade. This is forged from a stone that traveled billions of years to reach us. It did not ask permission. It did not ask to serve. It simply endured and arrived. Gasps and mutters echoed among the council seats. A few delegates stood and quietly left. Commander Rourke turned to the chamber. "You asked what kind of species we are. Now you know." The humans turned and walked out, unguarded. No one stopped them. Behind them, the Dauntless remained in orbit, broadcasting the memory crystal to every nearby system, an endless loop of Earth's darkest hours, and its refusal to die. The message was clear. We do not kneel. And across the stars, that phrase began to spread. The Empire shaken. For the first time in 10 millennia, the Galactic Council held a closed emergency session. Not for war, not for plague, for humans. In the vast, echoing dome of verdicts, the council chambers pulsed with agitation. Delegates hissed, clicked, chittered, and shrieked. Voices layered in dozens of languages, yet all sharing one unifying undertone. Fear. Unrefined. Violent. Unstable. Spat the crystalline Ekran emissary. They weaponize emotion. Even their art is insurgent. They are Tier 5, growled the Xener Warden. They should be bound, not heard. But not everyone agreed. High Archivist Thalray of the Veari Confederacy, a species renowned for their long memories, rose slowly. Her bioluminescent skin flickered with unease. "We have miscalculated," she said. "We assumed primitives. What we saw was a species forged by catastrophe. They do not break. They sharpen." Silence fell. She continued. "They have no collective telepathy, no hive unification. Yet their wars eclipse even ours. And more than that, their capacity for reinvention borders on cultural weaponry. They make tragedy into myth, defeat into rallying cry." A new voice joined from the shadows. "The signal from their vessel has now reached 42 Council-aligned systems. It is being shared." Murmurs turned into panic. The Valari delegate hissed. "It must be stopped. Censored. Buried." "Too late," Thalray replied. "The signal's gone viral. There are murmurs of rebellion in the outer colonies. Species under tribute are quoting them." The words returned like a haunting echo. "We do not kneel." Back on Earth, General Navarro stood before a global broadcast, eyes cold and clear. "We have not been attacked," she said, "because we did not beg." She paused. "We sent no fleet, no ultimatum, only truth. And it was more powerful than any warhead." The world listened. For the first time in centuries, nations no longer bickered over lines on maps. The stars had demanded a collective answer, and Earth had given it. Human ships, now reverse engineering alien tech gleaned from observation drones, began constructing their first real interstellar fleet. Not for conquest, for presence, for message. And across dozens of council-subjugated worlds, the effect was seismic. Protests erupted. Formerly subdued species began quoting human songs and speeches. They painted murals of the Dauntless. They smuggled fragments of the memory crystal across entire systems. Humanity had done what no one else dared, defied the council without firing a shot, and survived. Back in the council dome, the Ekran emissary turned to Envoy Carr. "You said their resistance was statistically improbable." Carr's expression was unreadable. It was. "Then what now?" Carr looked out the high glass at the black vessel still orbiting, still transmitting. "They have changed the game." He paused. "And perhaps it is we who must answer now."